When we purchase Microsoft 365, we get access to Azure AD. When we set this up for the first time, we're actually going through the process of creating an Azure AD tenant. An Azure AD tenant is a segregated identity platform for your organization. This isn't shared with any other company, and it's blank when you first get started. In this module, we'll be setting up Azure AD, creating our first tenant and populating it with users and devices. We'll do that by signing up for a Microsoft 365 trial. There's no cost associated with this, but be sure to read through the terms and conditions when we go through that process. Once the tenant's created, we'll have a trial environment. We'll go ahead and create some test users, assign those licenses, and we'll enable Microsoft Intune so that we can use the platform. We'll also be sure to secure the environment from the outset. Let's head over to the trial sign-up site. It's at aka.ms/Office 365 signup. Let's give that a go. It'll redirect us to a Microsoft 365 website. Let's just scroll down this website, and on the right hand side we can see Business Premium and the products that are included within Business Premium. Intune's right there, so we're good to go. Let's click Get Started. We're asked to enter our work email address. Now, don't worry, this can be any email address as long as it's not part of an organization that's already using Microsoft 365 in some way. Now, if you do enter an address that's part of an organization, you're asked if you want to create a new account instead, which you probably will want to. If you enter an address that's not already in use with an organization, you get to create a new account. It's pretty much all roads lead to creating a new account at this point. I'm going to go ahead and tap in all of my details and work through the form. Here I get to set up a new account. I'm going to tap in my details. I'm asked to verify my credentials by responding to a text message prompt. Next, we'll choose how we sign in. Now, in this case, what we're actually choosing is what our username will be. This is known as the user principal name, or UPN. We get to choose the bit before the @ symbol, also known as the UPN prefix, and also half of the bit after the @ symbol, known as the UPN suffix. With an Azure AD tenant, the UPN suffix always ends in .onmicrosoft.com. Now, it's important that we choose something reasonably sensible here, as it's not possible to change the OnMicrosoft UPN suffix once you've signed up. It also needs to be unique. Bear in mind that this is not necessarily the UPN suffix that users will need to type when they log into the organization. We can make user logins more friendly by configuring a custom domain such as firstcoffee.co.uk. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and tap in my details. Bear in mind that you're agreeing to a contract with Microsoft here. You'll be entering payment information during this process, and if you don't cancel your trial, it will convert to a paid subscription and charge your payment method. My tip is to cancel it as soon as you're done signing up if you're really just trialing it. Be sure to review the trial agreement listed here and confirm that you understand that Microsoft may contact you about the trial at any point. Finally, be sure to make decisions around whether you would like marketing information and whether you want to share your information with Microsoft and partners so that you can receive other products and services. I'm going to choose Next. Once again, here we're going to have to enter our payment information, which I'll go through shortly. Notice here that we get to choose the number of licenses that we need. Now, there's up to 25 available during the trial. If you go over that, you'll need to just pay right here and now. Bear in mind though, this is going to be free for up to 25 users for the single month, and as it says just at the bottom right there, in order to avoid charges we need to cancel within the 30 days of this trial. If you don't cancel within the 30 days of this trial, you'll be committing to a year of that number of licenses paid every month. I'm going to go ahead and choose 10 licenses because that's the maximum number of users that I'll be testing out with in this case. And as you can see, it's taken our monthly total up to £166 in this case. I'm going to go ahead and add a payment method in the next step, and be sure to cancel it shortly after I've registered. Okay, as you can see, I've entered in that payment information and it's updated my monthly summary with tax information now. Again, total due today is going to be 0, and if I turn off the recurring billing that I'll show you in a moment, there's no worry about having that £199 per month coming out of this credit card. Let's choose Start Trial. Great, we're all done. We've signed up for the Business Premium trial. It tells you your username, so make a note of that. Right now though, we need to make sure we don't get billed for this trial, so we're going to go ahead and choose Manage Your Subscription. The page you get to when you choose Manage Your Subscription is within the Microsoft 365 Admin Center under Billing and Your Products. Very simple to remove the risk of being charged for this service in the future. We simply go down to the trial that we've just accessed, choose More Actions in the ellipsis here, and then edit Recurring Billing. As you can see, by default, it's set to On, so we'll be billed on a recurring basis for this trial. We don't want that in this case. I certainly don't want that right now, so I'm going to choose Off, which means the trial expires in around 30 days. This is better than cancelling the subscription. If you cancel the subscription, it ends immediately, so be sure to make the right decision around that. Let's choose Save. And you can confirm that we've done the right thing by the subscription status, which now says it's active and expired on a specific date, and the paid with is not available. We aren't going to be billed for this service. So the next step is just to create some users within this environment. That's the process I'll be showing you just now. First though, let's just confirm a few things about the environment. As you can see on the screen right now, my Microsoft 365 Business Premium trial has one assigned license. I've purchased, for free, 25 licenses and they expire shortly. It's always a good idea to make a note of the users you're planning to create. So here we have my test user 1 and test user 2. I haven't yet created these, but I know that my first test user is going to be Jenny Tester, and my second test user is going to be Paige Tester. It's not too important that you record the password because you can always reset them, but it's a good idea to have those to hand for when you're testing in the future. So let's go ahead to Home. I chose the Home button there, but I could have also chosen the navigation menu and then chosen Home. As you can see, we've got some top actions for us right here, so we can create an account for another person and give up to 24 more people access to Office. Down at the bottom here, we've got the organization, and I can add a user or reset a password. I'll show you another way to get into that though, just so we have full visibility on it. I'll go into the navigation menu, choose Users, and then Active Users. From here, we see the users that are available in the organization already, and I can choose to add a user. I'm going to tap in my details for Jenny Tester, and then create that user. As you can see, the only domains I have available are, well, it's the firstcoffee2.onmicrosoft.com. That's the only one I've currently got available. It's not so important that I choose a domain suffix for the user right now. I can choose firstcoffee2 and then change it in the future. As this is a test user, I'm going to untick automatically create a password and also untick require this user to change a password, because I'm going to create a password for myself right now so that I can use it in the future. I've chosen a strong password right there. Let's choose next. Now, at this point, I can select the usage location. In this case, it's going to be the United Kingdom. I also get the opportunity to assign a license at this point. We can choose the license that's available, or we could choose the radio button here to create a user without a license, but as it says, that's not recommended because the user would have no access to the platform. So let's go ahead and just choose that tick box there, and the user will have access to Business Premium. Let's choose Next. I don't want this user to have any admin access, but if I did, then we could look at the options here and we could give them a specific admin role. Let's go back up there and choose Profile Info, because I do have some information about this user that I want to share. So Jenny's job title is Marketing Manager, and clearly she's in the marketing department. I don't have her office or office phone number or the mobile phone information, but I can just choose Next. And here we have some information about the user. So I'm just going to capture that username there because I'll need to use that so that she can sign in. I've already captured the password that I typed, and then we can simply click on Finish Adding. Perfect. Just going to click Close. And now we're going to add another user, but I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, great. I've got my 2 test users and my admin user that I'm going to use. The next thing we can do to make things slightly easier for our users to log in is to create a custom domain. There are a few ways we can get to that point. So let's try one of them. We're going to choose Navigation and then scroll down to Setup. Here we have some top actions that we can take a look at, or we could scroll all the way down. And you can see we've got some sign-in and security actions we can take. The second in the list is Get Your Custom Domain Set Up. If we click that, it takes us to the area of the portal where we can set up our custom domain. Let's choose Get Your Custom Domain Set Up. This is a trial, so we have very few users. No one's started using this yet. And if you consider the user impact, it's going to be very low because I have no users, it's just me. But it says at the bottom there, if you don't connect your domain to Microsoft 365, your users will have to sign into their apps and use email with their default firstcoffee2 or whatever your UPN suffix is, .onmicrosoft.com domain. So it says it's easiest to add a custom domain before you add your users, but I've shown you what happens if you add your users first, and we can update the user's username when we connect that domain. Let's choose Get Started. Microsoft have made it really simple to add our domain. They detect the domain registrar, the service or organization that provided the domain name for you, and if possible, redirect you to that service so that you can complete all the steps automatically on their website. Let's take a look what happens when I type firstcoffee.co.uk and choose Use this domain. It's asking in the top title there, how do you want to verify your domain? It's detected that I'm using GoDaddy as my domain registrar. It's possible for me to just simply choose Verify, and it will send me over to GoDaddy so that I can sign in and verify that I own this domain. There are other options though, let's explore those for a second. I could, for example, add a text record to the domain's DNS records. If I'm not able to add a text record, then I could add an MX record, or I could just add a text file to the domain website. The easiest one for me right now, and possibly you when you're going through this course, is to sign into the domain registrar. That's what I'll go ahead and do. So now I've authenticated to the GoDaddy website. It's a very simple step that I need to take. It says click Connect to authorize Microsoft to enable the services, which happens to be the domain proof of ownership for configuring Microsoft services for firstcoffee.co.uk, which is exactly what I want to do. So I'm going to choose Connect. Now it's simply saying that Microsoft can add the DNS records for me, so all I need to do is simply choose Continue. And Microsoft is going ahead and adding those domain records on my behalf. These are the ones that it's going to add for me in this case. They are Exchange and Exchange Online Protection, these ones here. And also some more around Skype for Business, Intune and mobile device management for Microsoft 365, And those are the ones that really are required for this organization. So I'm going to choose Add DNS Records. As you can see, once more, it's asking me to connect in order to authorize Microsoft to enable the Microsoft Office 365 service for firstcoffee.co.uk. I'm going to choose Connect. And there we go. Domain setup is complete. That was quick. Domain name services DNS is not known for its speed, but in this case, because it's an integrated configuration, we're able to get that done in just a few seconds. Finally, at the end, all we need to do is just choose Done. So now we've got our domain set up, we need to allow our users to log in and use that new custom domain that we've configured. We'll choose Home. So on the home screen, we're just going to scroll down a little bit, and you can see we've got our test users. We have myself, Jenny, and Paige. I'm just going to choose Jenny Test as name here, and you can see we've got an option here to manage username and email. Exactly what I want to do. I want to click that, and you can see it's possible for me to add an alias. In this case, I could type Jenny and then change that to firstcoffee.co.uk. But that's not what I want to do. I don't want to add an alias at all. I want to change the primary email address and username that Jenny uses to log in. I'm happy with Jenny Tester, but I want to change this domain at the end there. So I'm going to change that to firstcoffee.co.uk and choose Done, and then save my changes. Notice I've not added this alias here, but it would be possible to if I wanted to. I'm going to choose Save Changes. All done. Now I just choose to close and then go ahead and do the same for Page Tester. Very simple. Manage username and email, edit, change to firstcoffee.co.uk, choose Done, save changes, and close. Great. You can see those two usernames have changed. While I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and do my own username so that I don't have to type the full username in the future. I'm now Dean at firstcoffee.co.uk, which is perfect. I'm going to choose Save Changes, close this, and then just to be certain, it's going to sign me out, and I'll sign back in. Just close down these windows and visit admin.microsoft.com. Now, it's asking me to choose an account to sign into. I don't have this account anymore, so I'm going to tap in my new one, which is Dean at firstcoffee.co.uk. So now that we've signed in and we've got our custom domain set up, we really need to start thinking about security. In this case, there's a simple platform for security called Security Defaults. We can turn it on with just a few clicks. And if you have very simple security requirements such as this trial, it's a perfect way to get some security built in right from the start. So we can't do that from the admin.microsoft.com portal, but we can get to it from here. So simply choosing Show All, and then scrolling down to the bottom, we have the Azure Active Directory Admin Center. I'm going to choose this. We get presented with our dashboard that we saw earlier on. Very simply a case of just choosing Azure Active Directory and then scrolling down to Properties. From here, scroll to the bottom of this second pane, and we have an option for Manage Security Defaults. In this case, because this is a new tenant, we can see that Security Defaults is enabled by default. We are already protected. So next, we need to enable Intune. We'll choose the cross on this and the cross on this, and now we go back to our dashboard. Simply head back to the Azure AD blade and then down to Mobility, MDM, and MAM. As you can see, we've got Microsoft Intune listed right here and Microsoft Intune enrollment. We'll choose Microsoft Intune. And the MDM user scope is set to all, which is fantastic, and the MAM user scope is set to all. It's actually not recommended for the MAM user scope to be set to all, so we're going to go ahead and choose none for this setting. So we'll just choose Save, and we're ready to go. Let's quickly recap. We've signed up for our Microsoft 365 Business Premium trial and removed the recurring billing profile. We've created test users, assigned Business Premium licenses, and recorded the credentials. And we verified that Microsoft Intune is enabled and that our tenant is secured, with security defaults.